Welcome to Horace Douty YouTube. Each week I bring you 3 videos, a brief sermon on Sunday, a nature lesson each Tuesday, and a Virginia history lesson each Thursday. Today, I'm at the farm of Cyrus McCormick, located just north of Lexington, Virginia. I encourage you, click on subscribe if you like these videos, and then hit like and hit the little icon bell. And most importantly, share these videos with your social media platforms. I appreciate it. My books, which I'm quoting from, History Lessons from a Country Church, are available if you're interested. Volume 1, Volume 2 contain many photographs of this area, and they may be purchased at the downtown bookstore in Lexington or the Bookery, also in Lexington, and they can be bought, of course, on Amazon. Today, the lesson is Cyrus Paul McCormick and his world revolution. For several thousand years, the technique for harvesting grain remained unchanged in the world. On the slopes around Bethlehem, Jesus watched as laborers grasped handfuls of stalks and sliced them off by hand using sickles. And in the year 1800, here in Virginia, our farmers did exactly the same thing 2,000 years later. And long-handled grain cradles eventually replaced the shorter sickle, but the work remained very labor-intensive. It was hard work. However, a Presbyterian boy from Rockbridge County, Virginia, would change all that in one generation. Cyrus Paul McCormick was born February the 15th, 1809, on this farm at Steele's Tavern, Virginia. Life was still primitive in those days, but Cyrus was blessed with several advantages. He grew up beside the Great Valley Road, just out of sight here. He was taught history and heritage. He learned about Benjamin Borden's first meeting with John McDowell, very near where we're standing right now. He had industrious parents, serious people gifted with innovation. His father, Robert McCormick, had married Mary Ann Hall. Her name gives us connection with other Hall families, which grew out of Hall's meeting house several miles from here. Robert and Mary Ann did not care for Reverend William Graham's new hymn singing, so they gave land, labor, and money to construct Old Providence Church, where to this day Old Testament psalms are sung. Young Cyrus worked on this land, helping to plant and harvest in the slow, sweaty way. His inventive brain persistently told him there has to be a better way. And at age 15, he created his own version of the grain cradle that was easier to use than the larger models, but the work was still too slow, too difficult. Cyrus' own father, Robert, had envisioned a horse-drawn machine for cutting standing grain, but he had not succeeded in building a working model. Cyrus resolved to make his father's dream come true, and he did. It was not easy. His many failures brought stinging disappointment. Neighbors caustically suggested that this young man should stop his tinkering, get out into the field, and accomplish something worthwhile. Common sense told them that the rotary power of a horse-drawn wheel simply could not be converted into rapid reciprocating force. But Cyrus persisted, and with the aid of a gifted blacksmith and the steady guidance of his father, he finally achieved success. He designed a cutter bar with flashing back and forth teeth, attached it to a large traction wheel. A steady horse could pull this device and cut standing crops one swath at a time without stopping all day long. And there is how the agricultural revolution began here. From 1839 to 1847, he manufactured his machines right here at the home farm. Sales were slow in the beginning, and Cyrus realized he must expand his market. He became a salesman. He took his Virginia Reaper, as he called it, on a tour of the Midwest where land was level, limestone rocks did not jut out into the field as you see here, and he quickly recognized the grand possibilities that the Great Plains had to offer. Contrary to the advice of his Rockbridge family, Cyrus moved to what was then a village named Chicago. The industry that he started there is one of the reasons why the little muddy town on the Great Lake grew into the agricultural hub of Earth. At last, thousands of acres could be harvested. Behind me is the grist mill and the blacksmith shop. Right there is where Cyrus manufactured his reapers. McCormick managed through constant innovation to stay ahead of the competition. His early machines were considered miraculous with their ability to mow down standing crops. Then McCormick developed a better, larger device that could not only cut, but bind and tie the sheaves. And finally, McCormick devised a monster machine that would cut, thrash, winnow, and bag grain in one smooth sweep across a field that maybe is a mile or more long. This machine, pulled by multiple, maybe as many as 15 two-horse teams, could limit. There was no limit. Remove the limit to the size of grain fields. Food supplies in America could at last keep pace with population. The Virginia Reaper made its way to every country on earth, forever changing the once laborious process of harvesting grain. Wealth, honor, and acclaim were heaped upon McCormick while he lived. Nations across Europe awarded him their highest honors, recognizing him as having done more for the cause of food than any other man in history. An American historian agreed. One famous quote, "No general or consul drawn in a chariot through the streets of Rome by order of the Senate ever conferred upon mankind the benefits so great as he who thus vindicated the genius of our country." And I wish that historian had said the genius of Rockbridge County near Lexington. During his lifetime, his astonishing invention touched every portion of the world. For the past 150 years and more, on a smaller scale, barbers and sheep shearers use the same mechanical concept, the reciprocating blade. Mowing hair is similar to mowing grain. Cyrus McCormick, our neighbor, never forgot his roots. He gave generously to Washington University, where a bronze statue perpetuates his memory there on the campus. And when you visit this farm right here, you must be aware that just over the hill is another memorial, not listed, the quaint stone Old Providence Church. This lovely old meeting house and its graveyard have both been restored. Cyrus and his forebears lie there, or not him, but his forebears. Reformed Presbyterian Church is Old Providence, is the new brick church that replaced and built with McCormick money. And you can still go and visit the old stone church. It's kept open and clean and air conditioned, and it includes amongst these fertile hills. Go and appreciate and remember. It's part of your heritage. Think about this. Whenever you are in the world, the bread you enjoy has in all probability come to the table in some measure through the untiring effort of Cyrus Paul McCormick. He changed his world. Now it is your turn.